everybody, welcome back to another episode of Combat Talk. As always, I'm your host Sophia, and this week we will be covering UFC Fight Night, Arman versus Hooker. As always, before we get into the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And also, hit the notification bell to make sure you never ever miss another episode of Combat Talk. Well, without further ado, let's get into our fight predictions. Now, first off, we're going to be starting with Ismail Nurmagomedov versus Ryan Loder at middleweight. Now, we got wrestling versus striking. Ismail has strong hands, but he also can go to the ground. The only worry for Ryan is, will his striking be as strong as his wrestling? And as long as he takes it to the ground with Ismail, he will win. But if Ismail can keep it on the feet, he will win. But my prediction is going to have to be Ismail by knockout. But next up, we have Bekazat versus Alexandre Tapira at bantamweight. Now we have karate versus MMA. Now in the past, we have seen karate-based fighters are very technical and a lot more calm and more of a thinker, in my opinion. However, in this case, it's an MMA fight, right? So you have to be worried about the ground game and being taken down and work on that. So with these two, they are pretty evenly matched, but my prediction for this fight is going to be Alexandre because he just doesn't have really any holes in his game like Begzat, and I know you're thinking, Sophia, what are you talking about? Well, Begzat has a good striking, but when he gets taken down, he just sits there and doesn't try to stand up at all. Almost like just giving up and saying, oh, I'm done now. But on to our next fight, we have Merrick Bajulo versus Denzel Freeman at heavyweight. So we have both MMA-based fighters now. Honestly, they both are really simple fighters, and you're like, Sophia, oh my god, what are you talking about? It's the heavyweight division. Well, I'm glad you guys said that, because they both are good, but Denzel is just a tad slower than Merrick, so my prediction is going to be Merrick by KO in the second round. With that being said, we're going to move on to our next fight, Nicholas Dalby versus Segid at welterweight. Now, on the ground, Segid will win all day with his inside leg trips and the fact that he can submit anybody fast. However, Nicholas, his striking is really good. It's a matter of who can survive the longest and who's going to prove that they deserve to be in the UFC more. So for my prediction, we're going to go with Seged just to play it safe. I hate to put it that way, but it's just the way it is. Now we have Nurullo Alaya versus Shamrock at lightweight, freestyle versus MMA. Now these guys both are well-rounded, but Shem does have better striking and ground game. Gamir compared to Nurullo is very technical. However, it's a matter of how he can handle a lot of damage on the feet. So my prediction is going to be Nurullo Alayev by submission in the first or second round. But next up, Tigir versus Kyoji at flyweight, wrestling versus striking. Now, time to dive in. Okay, first off, yes, Tigir is a wrestling background, but like every fighter that has a wrestling background, they most likely are going to have really good striking. And in this case, it's true. Now, Kyoji, he has a low guard and very sloppy. So my prediction is Tigir either by KO or decision at light heavyweight. We have Abdul Rakim Yakayev versus Rafael Sequeira. Now, once again, both of these guys are well-rounded. They know they are both expecting a couple of punches, rush the clinch, and get a takedown. Now, hopefully with me saying that, it can be more exciting, and hopefully there will be more striking involved than ground game in this fight. And that's coming from someone who competes in jiu-jitsu. So my prediction for this fight is going to have to be Rafael by submission in the second round. Now, our last fight of the prelims, we have Bogdan Grad versus Luke Riley at featherweight. Now, for those who don't know who Luke Riley is, this man is someone who has been on the come up for a hot minute. He fought in Cage Fury. He has proved why people should be watching him. However, he is in the UFC now. So with this fight, he is going to be tested with the fact that does he have ground game now? Because Bogdan can easily take him down and make him feel punishment from there. But if Luke has been working on his ground game, he will have no problem winning this fight. But my prediction for this fight, Luke Riley by KO or decision. But onto our main card. Starting off, we have Alex Perez versus Asu Amabayev versus flyweight. But Alex has good striking as well. But with that being said, watching Alex Perez, every time his opponents have tried striking with him, he has made them feel a lot of pain. And I think he's going to do that again in this fight. So my prediction for this fight is Alex Perez by KO or decision. But now we have a heavyweight fight with Sergey Spivak versus Shamil Ghaziyev. This is a fight to prove who stays in the UFC or not, because Sergey, in my opinion, is going to make Shamil look stupid and prove once again people should be looking at him and give him the respect that he deserves. So my prediction for this fight is going to be Sergey by submission in the second round. Now we move on to Jack Hermanson versus Mike McDebeck or Lobby at welterweight. Honestly, it's more of who can take the most damage and survive, and I think Jack Hermanson can inflict more damage, but this fight will be a real test because Orlabi is strong in both striking and the ground game and can inflict more damage than Jack. So my prediction for this fight is going to have to be Orlabi second round KO. Now back to light heavyweight, Alonzo Meningfield versus Volkan Ozdemir. Honestly, I'm just gonna be up front and be honest with you guys and make this quick and save you guys the time and save you guys the trouble. Volkan by decision. But now for our co-main event, Bilal Muhammad versus Ian Machado Gary at welterweight. This fight is going to be interesting on the feet. You know why? Because in my opinion, it's a matter of who can land harder shot first, because both of these guys, when they land, it's like a train wreck. But my prediction for this fight is Ian Machado Gary. Sorry to say, either by TKO or submission in the second round. Sorry to say it. Gotta say it. But now for our main event of the evening, Dan Hooker versus Arman Tsarukyan. Hopefully I said that right. At lightweight, these two have I have a good suspicion that these two are gonna brawl, and it'll be a war. However, if it goes to the ground, Arman's gonna win all day. We already know that. But if Dan can make it just stand on the feet for the rest of the fight, he's gonna win. But my prediction, unfortunately, I love Dan Hooker, and I've been a fan of him for a while, but Arman's either gonna win by a knockout or a submission in the third or fourth round. But that was my prediction for this weekend's card. I hope you guys enjoyed. As always, I'm your host, Sophia Foyer, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I'll see you guys next week. But make sure you leave your predictions in the comments below. I'll see you guys next week. And make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. and share the video, and make sure to hit the notification bell so you guys never ever miss another video. But I will see you guys next time. Bye guys.